Hey guys, welcome to another movie review. Today I'm going to be talking about a film that really isn't very well known at all. Um, I found this film a while ago basically at a clearance price and things like that. Really, the most I remember about this movie is I remember seeing a trailer for it, I think either in the theater or on TV, and I remember thinking it looked kind of funny and things like that. It's the film The Man with Samuel Jackson and Eugene Levy. Like I said, it really isn't very well known at all. The reviews for it really aren't anything spectacular, but it is a film I found at a good price. Like I said, the trailer before it was pretty funny back when I saw it, and it wasn't until just recently where I finally got around to viewing it for you guys today to review for you. But in The Man, you guys, Eugene Levy plays this dental supply salesman that also is kind of the spokesperson for a dental company, and he's about to speak at this big convention out of town. And one day before, while he's kind of getting settled into the city and prepping for his big speech and everything like that, he gets mistaken for somebody else. There's supposed to be this big bad deal to happen at this coffee shop somewhere, and it involved drug dealers and a lot of money and things like that. And so he gets mistaken for somebody else. He even gets a gun at one point, so people think he's actually trying to do something really terrible. And so basically, Samuel L. Jackson's this undercover cop that basically was supposed to be the person that these guys were looking for instead. And so he basically takes Eugene Levy under his wing. They really don't want to work with each other because Eugene Levy's just there for the convention, and Samuel L. Jackson was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to show up to the scene before Eugene Levy to be the guy to actually take care of the deal and things like that. But the two of them get mistaken, and so they're kind of thrown into this situation where, he was supposed to be there, but he wasn't, and things like that. And so throughout the course of this film, Eugene Levy is trying to clear his name so he can kind of go back to his job and do what he was supposed to do for this convention, things like that, while Samuel Jackson can go back to doing his job and do more undercover missions for the police force and things like that. So most of the runtime of the film is about Eugene Levy clearing his name and Samuel Jackson kind of cleaning up this mess that he kind of got involved with as well in the movie. But overall, guys, I thought The Man was okay. I can kind of understand why the reviews for this film weren't anything spectacular. I did track down both the Rotten Tomatoes reviews and the Metacritic score from back in the day when this came out in 2005. I can kind of see why this film kind of disappeared from theaters. It really is not a spectacular movie of any kind. There's things about it that are kind of funny. Eugene Levy and Samuel Jackson, of course, have really good screen chemistry in this film. So that kind of what's ultimately what saves it from becoming a total disaster. There's things about it that I enjoy, but at the same time, there's really nothing about this film that's really spectacular in any way. It really just kind of this run of the mill buddy cop film that's not really a buddy cop film kind of a thing. So let's go over some positives and negatives of The Man. So first and foremost, Eugene Levy's sense of humor is probably one of the better parts of the movie. There's a lot of scenes where they really kind of gets to do his own thing. The things that you kind of love him seeing him do the most in like American Pie and other comedies, he really gets to do very well in this movie. So he really gets a lot of moments to shine here and gets a lot of like funny scenarios that he gets to play off of and things like that. Eugene Levy and Samuel L. Jackson's screen chemistry in this film I also thought was very strong as well. Um, they play off of each other very well. They have a lot of good jokes. They run into a lot of scenarios where one of them does something really stupid that the other one really hates, and so they kind of react to that to each other very well as a result. So I thought the screen chemistry between the two lead actors in this film was also very good in this as well. And overall, I do overall like this. I really overall like this idea of an innocent man in kind of this dangerous situation because you can really tell that this character that Eugene Levy is playing is really not used to being in these really dangerous situations, and the film kind of has fun with that. Um, he really is not used to holding a gun or being around criminals or dealing with drug dealers and things like that. It really is kind of a very funny scenario of an innocent man thrown into a dangerous situation, and the film plays off of this very well. But for my negatives of The Man, though, ultimately this is a very forgettable movie. I'll be surprised if I remember anything about this film in about a year from now. I'll probably just remember seeing it and being like, oh, it was just kind of this little throwaway movie. And that's kind of what The Man became ultimately, unfortunately, after 15 years of being around and being on DVD and Blu-ray and things like that. That's kind of where this film is kind of at right now, is people just kind of forgot about it. It got buried in the sand. Um, so unfortunately, The Man is not the most memorable film you're ever going to see. And on that note, too, another negative I had is this really isn't a very super interesting movie. There's really nothing about this film that dives into a deep subject matter or is about character study or is about the criminal underworld or anything like that. This film really doesn't dive deep on any of those things, and that's really too bad for this movie. There's also some action scenes in this film that really kind of feel unsure of himself. Because this is a comedy, there's a lot of scenes here where you can really tell that they're just really not sure what to do with some of the action scenes here. It really just feels very unsure of itself. The film also has very weak attempts at character building. Um, there really is some scenes here where, like, they're trying to show that Samuel L. Jackson's more fatherly side since he has a daughter, and kind of how things didn't work out with his ex-wife and things like that. There's scenes here too where Eugene Levy's placed in scenarios where he kind of has to grow as a character to be able to get through it and things like that. Another thing too is this film only happens over the course of like 2 days. Um, and there's just a lot of things that these characters get into within those 2 days that really feel like that kind of feels like something that would play out even longer in real life. So there's just some really weak attempts at character building here that probably could have paid off in a better script. It just unfortunately didn't work very well in this in particular movie. I also thought some of the side characters and villainous characters in this film were very pretty weak for the most part. Anthony Mackie from the Marvel films, who plays Falcon in the Captain America movies, he has a role in this movie, which is kind of funny because both him and Samuel L. Jackson are both in this, and they're both in the Marvel universe, with Samuel L. Jackson being Nick Fury in those movies. But a lot of the side characters are just very throwaway characters in this. Same with the villainous characters. There's really nothing in particular memorable about any of them. They're very stereotypical. Um, so yeah, the Man is just kind of this forgettable movie that kind of has little funny moments every once in a while. It's not completely terrible, but at the same time, there's really nothing super memorable about this film where you have to go out and see it right away or anything like that. So, The Man, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's an okay film. There's okay things about it. It's just kind of a run-of-the-mill buddy cop film that's not really a buddy cop film kind of a thing. It's just really pretty forgettable for the most part. There's just a lot of things about it that really aren't anything special. So, The Man, 7 out of 10 for me. It's an okay film. See it with caution if you choose to see it.